Oh, headphones. Oh, Mary said it. What a week. And you hear that a lot from me, though. But of course, going back to the flood, ever since that night, December 21st, we have been really pushing hard to do both the shows and living here. And now we're not living here. We moved back in last Friday, and it's been wonderful to sleep in a real bed again and take a real shower again. And this place is a place of work again. So it's and then there's been doctor's appointments this week that were kind of rough, but turned out well, and just one thing after another. So but we love doing the show so much, so we would never stop doing it because we have all these other things going on, making us so incredibly busy. But I think it's starting to settle down. At least that will be. Grandchildren are coming Sunday. You're going to be with us for a week, but I'm still going to be here making the next show. I worked all this week, every chance I got. We this tomorrow night, 6 p.m. we have James Lowe, who's he came here and told his story, which was amazing, and he managed to do it in 20 minutes. Now we're trying to make most of our shows down to no more than 15, and we're doing this for a while, and there's a really good reason for it. And it was apparent after last week's show, more people watched that 10-minute episodes. Did you guys realize that was 10 minutes? I know it seemed longer, but it wasn't. And YouTube works best that way initially when you're starting a new channel, and this essentially is a new channel still. More people are going to look up and say, oh, geez, I'm kind of in a hurry, but oh, well, look, that's only 10 minutes. Let's watch it. I mean, Mary and I find ourselves doing that a lot too. So we do watch the longer ones, but sometimes we just want to watch something short before we go to bed. And I was able to pack a lot into it. I have written down 8 short experiences that I didn't talk about, but something is there, the movie or the book, that I'm going to touch on for next week. We don't have anyone else going in front of camera. I'm trying to get John Glitch to go in front of camera. We're going to see him Tuesday. He's amazing, and his story is incredible, and he will come forward. And that will be a great show. But then again, still, I'm going to have him only tell, something that fits within the 15 minutes, and then we have him back again for more. After after we get more subscribers, after we get more views and all that kind of stuff, then we can start going for longer stuff and still survive. So that's kind of what we're up to. So James Lowe, yeah, he goes into detail about his experiences from the time he was little up to present day, and his books and the 200 copies he sent to Congress telling them how to prepare for essentially arrival, open contact, which I think we all feel is coming real soon. At least I know I do, because a lot of people have been saying that for years. It's going to happen any day now, but I don't know. It's really different now. I'm hopeful. So I think a lot of you know who Adam Good is. He's been in the chat a whole bunch, and we decided, because he's got a lot to say and got stories, to have him on tonight. So without further ado, let's bring him on. And also thank you, Adam, for all your incredible support. There you are. There he is in person. That's what he looks like.
Hello. I'll take myself off mute there.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. So thanks for coming on the show. We have till 7:00.
Okay. Well,
I got to,
thank you so much.
Both and I have to go home and just get some rest, because it's been a push this week. So
no, from what you've told me, it sounded full on, and and I'm glad to help out tonight with the heavy lifting.
Okay, good. Well, bare your soul.
Okay. I'm Adam, and I'm 42 years old, and I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm a lifelong experiencer. Um, like my earliest memory was from the age from the ages of 2 to 3. I would say more two, but um, just for how small I was, like just picturing it, and it seems like I came in either burdened into the experiences coming from it, or just accepting from day one that like just open yourself to the universe and the universe will look back type thing. And I've told my story, like I was saying, like from the age of 2 to 3. Um, it was broad daylight. My parents were both home, and they put me in front of the TV, and they went to go take a nap or read, which reading partakes in with naps. And we've always been avid readers. Are you having trouble hearing me?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay, I just didn't know with the earphones. I just worry. I worry.
Don't be distracted by me.
Okay, I will not.
I'm
Um,
hearing a little kind of a sound that sounds like talking through a spring, and I'm trying to see if it's something that's coming from my computer or if it's on your end. I think it's on your end, but it's okay.
the sound, like my whole setup, I had to kind of piecemeal at the last minute. I wasn't able to rig it up the way I wanted to with a nice mic and everything. I've just had to go through my iPad tonight.
Okay.
Just um, my computer just wasn't having it tonight. So,
Oh, okay.
um,
Well, continue, please.
oh, of course. So, like my parents put me down in front of the TV. They went to go read and nap, which was the next room over. And as I'm watching TV, I'm in my dad's chair, and I feel a presence, like something is here. Um, Maybe even someone kind of, I can't quite remember if it was vocal or just a feeling. And as a child, and you want to play, I thought, let's go play hide and seek with this. And so I crawled out of my dad's chair, and then I went to my parents' room, climbed up onto the bed, which I couldn't see over. That's why I say, two, possibly three, but like they had a king size bed on a stand and on box springs, and I had to grab onto the comforter, put my foot on the support, and push myself up and climb up on. My parents didn't rouse whenever I crawled over them and tried to wake them. So I wrapped myself up in the comforter like a burrito, and just kind of lay there waiting with that anticipation, like as a child, whenever you feel like you're doing something kind of fun. And wait there a few beats, and next thing I know, the comforter is being peeled back from my head, and a gray, silvery face is peering in on me.
Silvery
And,
face, yeah.
yeah, it was kind of gleaming, like there was light emanating from the being. So it peeked in on me, and I heard a voice in my head, very strong. Not that the voice was strong, but just very clear. Say, "It's time to play," and that's the end of the memory.
I
And
couldn't find that on Amazon Music.
no, you couldn't. um, so like that's, and later on, what was it? Whitley Strieber's book, not Communion, Transformation, where it had the silver embossed
Sure.
on the
I have
cover.
that. I have that.
Re-
Yeah.
it really reminded me whenever I saw that decade and a half later in my life. Just looking at it, I was like, that was confirmation. That was validation.
Yeah.
later I read it.
Ironically, especially considering the name of the book and who wrote it. So, yeah, Whitley.
Oh no. And I had a story with communion as well that my mom and I were in the mall, and this was a handful of years later. I mean, like, this would have happened in the childhood one, well, the infant or toddler, let's say. The 2 to 3 would have been what, 82, 83, possibly 84. And Whitley's communion book
Right.
came out in 87.
87. That's correct.
And that would have put me at 6. So 6 or 7, just depending on what time of the year. And I remember we were in the mall and we went into Walden Books. And we were walking in, like they had the wall of the bestsellers to the right or wherever, whatever store you went into, but it was to the right for us. And I remember looking at the face on communion. And I was shocked, not by, not like some people were, just wanted to scream and run away, but I remember reacting, turning to my mom, pointing at it, having her go up to it and telling her or asking her, why is my friend on the face of this book?
Mm-hmm.
And, just that's always stuck with me too. I mean, like these memories, I can remember in first grade, sixth grade, college, yesterday, just the same way. I mean, it's always been the same memory.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's changed or elaborated. So, and I know I wrote you a nice long letter.
Yeah,
you know,
you did.
and you even stated that, wow, that was long. I don't know if you were going, oh
it,
boy, most of this is garbage, but
it's sometimes very difficult to consolidate an experience such as this into a few sentences. It is. I mean, I can do it, but generally, when you're doing that, you're if you if you're not talking to someone who knows your story, you're going to go into more detail.
oh yeah,
Most people know my story because I've been talking about it since 1990. So, and then there's the book and the movie, and what's really interesting too is that in the support group scene in But Something Is There, um, the lady says she talks about her childhood friend and how she went into the bookstore and saw his face on the book, and she didn't understand how it got there. I hear this all the time. So, because again, you thought you were the only one who ever saw that, and it was unique to you alone.
yeah. Well, I mean, as a child, everything's unique, and to
Yeah,
you,
I know. And these beings were childhood, like friends. You played with them and stuff, and they played
mhm.
with you, and um, they spent time with you on that level, children to children, almost. It's amazing.
I mean, I was just talking to a good friend of mine, Ron, about how you played energy games, or you tried to you find yourself later in life, like, can I push this pencil if I just think about it? So, and
Well, yeah, but you really felt you could. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
honestly, deep down inside, I mean, I did myself. I'm sure many of us here did feel that we had superpowers, but now we couldn't use them anymore. It
I
was
still feel like they're just a breath away, just
yeah,
a whisper.
exactly. And I remember being picked on in school and thinking I can just stop them with my mind and they can't hurt me and I can push them back, and it just didn't work. But I did it as though it did work at one time,
Yeah, absolutely.
or in one life or another. So, which
This waking life is a weird one, I tell you.
yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about Planet of the Apes. You said something to me about it, and the thing about that, well, first I read the book.
Hmm.
The book's great. And really the movies, none of them were anything like the book, which was kind of a shame. But the first film was yeah, Rod Serling. I mean, he does not do a bad job. It was a great adaptation of it. But there was something about the whole story that really bugged me, and I could relate to it. As if I was Taylor and landed on a planet where humans were the lowest common denominator,
Yeah.
not intelligent, couldn't speak, and all that. And this place has always kind of felt like that to me since I was a little kid.
Oh yeah. No, I very much feel
Yeah,
that. I think.
but
I
you
mean, like,
concealed it, right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I remember you were talking recently about the large last week's animation about the tall female.
Oh yeah,
The arrogance that she kind of has, and
yeah. But it's a
it's
beautiful arrogance, though. I
mhm.
it almost is kind of sexy. I can't quite put it into words.
No, it is very sexy and almost
Hmm.
almost contagious.
Hmm.
Like
No,
you find yourself whenever you're in a leadership position, and it can be humbling because I don't have that sexiness. There.
oh come on. We all have some sexiness, don't
Yeah,
we?
we do.
Okay.
We sure do.
I was asking all the wonderful people here tonight. I'm looking over there and seeing a lot of familiar names and some new names. And I see Catkins here, and
Hello,
it just
everybody.
yeah, no, it's wonderful to see everybody here listening to us talk about all this stuff.
Well, one thing that's kind of gone hand in hand with all this stuff is psychic abilities. Um, my maternal side and my maternal side from that comes a long line of psychics. My grandmother's aunt, um, she had a profound psychic experience by going to a like whenever like you would have to travel horse and buggy and all that and travel. She went to Ohio because she was interested in the whole seance aspect. And she went to like one where they had an auditorium and they had a psychic come in. And out of all the people, the psychic came up to her and said, "Why aren't you doing this? You're just as powerful as me."
Yeah.
And it's
Pe-
gone on with that. I mean, my grandmother
yeah.
was just phenomenally psychic. My mom, her life was saved by the voice, and she passed it on down to me, and I've heard the voice, and it saved my life. And I've been able to pick out stuff for menial prizes, you
Yeah.
know.
The voice that tells you turn left, not right, because if you turn left, even though you were told to go that way, it's
Mhm.
not going to work out well.
Yeah, my
Some
mom
of
will.
us call it the gut.
Yeah,
Thank you, Alchemist. My goodness, thank you so much. Oh,
well,
Judy's here.
oh, Judy
Judy-
is right.
Yeah,
No,
and,
it's completely
and
different.
Guy's here.
Uh,
Yeah, the psychic thing, and we definitely have it. Do you do you find have you gone to an old building or old house and gone in it and immediately felt something that you wouldn't normally feel if you just went into any other home or building?
Absolutely.
Has it talked to you?
Oh yes, it's helped me find stuff before. In fact,
Have you ever run into someone who was desperately lost, really didn't realize they're passed on, and but they knew that you had the sense to be able to detect them, so they plead with you? Because I've had that happen, and it's really
well, I mean, I do go ghost hunting,
you
and
do.
yeah, and just more recently, just because I've had a good set of friends in the area, Wild and Weird Collective of West Virginia, and a few, like everybody's connected there, and there's quite a few people that meet up that way, and Wild and Weird Radio, and I've met up with some ghost hunters, and sorry about this.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
No, that's
All right. We're
not.
all friends here.
But first, I'll tell that I went with my mom and dad. My dad had a conference in Virginia Beach, and we've always been interested in Edgar Casey. So mom and I went to Edgar Casey's place, and roamed around there and did all kinds of fun stuff. And then they had this big machine where you would sit on one side and I would sit on the other, and it was basically those little cards with the star and circle and
Oh,
wavy
yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
And
You did well with them?
we did great.
Yeah.
In fact, later on, we kept doing them after we got home. Like instead of like having cards, we would just draw shapes, and
Right.
we'd number a piece of paper, and mom would think of one, and I would do it, and we'd get 100% a lot of the time.
I'm sorry. I just had a funny moment because, I worked on Ghostbusters, and that scene always comes to mind with Bill Murray. He's shocking the poor guy. He's actually getting him right so he can get close to the girl. Yeah.
Oh, that makes two people that I know that have worked
Yeah.
on
Well,
Ghostbusters.
Judy's in here, and Guy's in here, and Bigfoot, Littlefoot said hello to you. And
Hey, Bigfoot.
Judy asked a great question that I hear asked often. I know Whitley's asked about it a lot. And what is the connection between the visitor experience and where'd she go? Oh, visitor! God, this is moving too fast. Where'd she go? Well, she wanted to know what the connection was with the experience, with the paranormal and the visitors, and it's funny. I can see it, but it's hard to put into words. But they exist on the same plane, I think, as what we think is the realm where people have passed on. And so do we.
Mm-hmm.
But we're told that that doesn't really exist. And, be here now, you're in this reality. And look who's telling us that. Look who's turned off so many of our abilities by telling us that you don't have those abilities. Nobody can fly. No one can read minds. No one can move a pencil with their mind. That's all garbage. And if you're told that enough when you're a kid and into your adult life, you literally turn off, I believe. But I know that the two are connected. And
it's all
well, sure. But there's something that often when people pass away, that have these experiences, they'll see the visitors there as they're passing away. It's like they're there to comfort them, to bring them back.
What was it? Whitley said that they were not handmaid, nursemaid for going into the other realm.
Right.
Like the help with the aspect of going into that world, which I think is more alive than this one.
Perhaps it is. And of course, when we dream at night, we have our garbage dreams, as I call them, and they don't make any sense. And there's nothing linear about them. And you can't have conversations with people. And it's just all these bizarre images and things, and they don't really make sense. And then all of a sudden it goes completely clear, and you're in another reality, and you can talk to people, and you can reach down and feel the surfaces on a table, or you can feel the bark on a tree. You can breathe the air, you can smell, you can feel cold, everything that you experience here right now. And those are the ones that really stick out in my mind, that there's something much, much more. So that's also when we're dreaming. It seems when, I hate calling them the dead, the people that have passed on, the spirits of our loved ones seem to be able to communicate with us much easier
Mm-hmm.
which speaks volumes.
And death has been a really funny and fickle thing in my life, like experiencing, um, hearing my cousin die in an industrial accident and hearing the wake of all that, like going through the family and verbatim knowing what happened and when and where, and had it validated by everything I heard in my head. And, we were on the subject of ghost hunting.
Right.
And I think that, I think I know what you're trying to get me to push me towards. But, and it goes back to where we were talking about being sexy. And I, I had the privilege of joining a ghost hunting group to go to a strip club. And, that they had one recent death of a manager there, and they were just wanting to make sure that everything was okay because there were some stuff that were happening. And then they were having another situation where they didn't know the person because so much time had passed and no one remembered her, but someone had OD'd in a bathroom there, and strange events, poltergeist events, would happen. Whenever we made it to a bathroom that we kind of found that was kind of hidden, but we kind of broke into it. Just moving stuff, essentially. It wasn't really breaking and entering or anything, but we did an SE test, and which is where you can't see anything. You have noise canceling headphones or stuff that tries to keep
Mhm.
everything out,
Mhm.
and it plays through a radio station on sequence. Like it doesn't stick on anything, but you just try to meditate and hear what like if there's something kind of coming across. And it usually takes a few minutes for it to kind of get going. But the woman that is a good friend of mine, she was doing it, and then she ended up hearing the radio asking for me to participate by name. So I got on and had, you know, I mean, after I came out of it, I apparently freaked out a bunch of people because of stuff that like I had nicknames for people that no one else would have known from the passing of the manager and stuff like that. And the part that really was intriguing came next. We went downstairs and to like what was formerly a restaurant, and below that's a basement. And my friend was one of my friends was having trying to communicate, and stuff was kind of happening. But I kept on noticing movement behind her, and it was almost like something was messing with her. It was about 3 foot tall, kind of gray, if that's making. And so I decided to go into the basement, which, I mean, you could, whenever you go down there, it could be today or you could be propelled back 150 years. It's that old,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went back in there, and it's nice and quiet down there. And I go back and I use Whitley Strieber's meditation technique. And I'm down there by myself for a good 15, 20 minutes, and till someone comes to get me, till someone came to come and get me. And as I'm meditating, and I can kind of view almost like another world in this aspect, out of the crevices behind beams, behind everything, things started to peek out at me,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up being having big eyes, kind of open mouthed, slightly, and grays, and they were just kind of coming out in this other world type scene and just kind of checking up on me and seeing what I was up to. And right whenever we were about ready to have contact, someone came down and broke the concentration.
Yeah.
You know,
Did it get really cold in there? I mean, it would be cold anyway, but did you notice a drop in temperature?
there was a drop in temperature. Yeah,
Yeah. And see, that seems to be, it almost reeks of something technological,
yeah. Oh, and what
because
was
you
really
get,
interesting, I forgot to mention the poltergeist experience that happened right when I went into the meditation. A beer bottle hit the ceiling and then fell back down and didn't shatter at my feet.
wow.
And I knew that this meditation was going to be powerful. And it was. I've seen stuff similar to that, but not as powerful as that one.
Wow. Alchemist asked me, what did you mean when your grandfather said to you, it means our very survival mark of our species in the movie The Dreamtime? Well, it's simple, really. I mean, I don't know how many of you have been watching The Three Body Problem. Anybody
I've
here?
read it. I've read it.
Read it, but there's a series now, eight
Yeah, I've
episodes.
watched the Chinese version. I have yet to watch the American version.
It's amazing. So you know about how they're in Mongolia and they're
Hmm.
just slaughtering the terrain in the name of greed. That means our very survival. We have to stop killing this planet. I know you're not doing it, and I'm not doing it. I mean, we do contribute to it, unfortunately, and we did it without knowing. But now that we do know, um, there are a lot of people. We're supposed to be the stewards of this place. We're not supposed to rape it dry and make profit off of it to such a degree that we're killing it and killing all the animals and everything here. And eventually, it's going to be taken out of our hands if we don't correct what we've done.
Absolutely.
It's going to be taken out of our hands. Someone's going to step in and say, "You are not doing this." And
We're
it's
going
real
into
close. It's more than close, and it's already occurring, as many of you know. That film speaks about that, though. I mean, the series, and um, I'm not going to give away any spoilers because the episode last night we saw it was mind blowing what happened. But I highly recommend you watch it. Some of the best science fiction that's been on in a long time. But yes, it means our very survival and the link between us. Well, the link between us is that we are linked, is as Adam said, and we're connected to everything. But predominantly, it seems to me that most of the public, and a lot of it's innocent because they're misled, are completely, utterly disconnected from reality, and they tell us we're not, we're crazy, right? And they walk out of their house, they see a snail crawling across their sidewalk. The first thing they do is step on it. Uh, they kill insects, they kill anything that moves. It seems it's like this thing that we have as a race of beings, and we need to break out of that. We have a connection with all these things. We have a connection with the visitors. We have a connection with the spirits of our families and our friends and our loved ones. And only a handful of people on earth really still have that connection, the
yeah,
link between us. And, the indigenous people will talk to you about it at length once you get them to open up. It always helps if you have a little bit of indigenous blood yourself, and then they open up pretty quick. But they're very careful for the same reasons that we have been with our experience, because we don't feel that anybody will believe us and they'll think we're crazy. But yes, the link between us. That's all I meant by that in the film. He was referring to the Dreamtime. So I hope that answers your question. And of course, John Condor, thank you so much for the support. It's so much appreciated. So tell us more, Adam. I mean, wow. So you've been having experiences all your life, like just about everybody here.
Yep, sure.
And so they're still continuing today.
Um, I almost showed something that a ex girlfriend took a picture of, but it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I mean, she said never to show it to anyone. I almost did, just out of pure excitement. But she took a picture of something standing in my window as I was baking bread at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's a happy thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoy making sourdough bread. I mean, I have for quite a few years, and it's been just wonderful having like a little colony of living beings. And that makes me reflect on the maybe that's what the visitors view us as. You know?
I don't know.
But I mean, I've been blessed with the fact that my family has been at least open to hearing stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, my mom went through a lot of voices and, I would say psychic voices. I mean, not like, you know, go do this or, the dog telling her what to do or anything, but like what we were talking about. She was on the interstate behind a tractor trailer and the voice said, move over to the left. And she did immediately. And one of the tires came off and bounced right where she would have been.
Yeah.
And,
See, we
you
don't
know,
listen to that. I know I say we, I mean a lot of people, and they get hurt or they die, and
oh,
'cause they
yeah.
don't. They're told not to believe a voice inside of you trying to guide you.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's connected to um, the graze or the visitor experience
Sure.
because, like, whenever my parents were first dating, they were necking in the back of my dad's car and they started seeing lights dancing around the sky.
Yeah.
And then they ended up getting married and having me.
And that's
And
something.
I wasn't supposed to happen. I was a miracle baby. Whenever my parents, the last attempt, my mom went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "You're really going to have to think about Plan B. There's no way you're going to get pregnant." And she heard a voice say, "You're pregnant right now," and it was me. And,
We struck a chord here when we were talking about started with stomping on a snail, and the reason I tell that said the snail is because I remember a friend of mine, a friend of my late wife's, brought this indigenous man over to our house, and he really looked the part. He had the braids and the clothes, and he talked all this about spirit and all these things. And then as he's leaving our house, there's snails going across the sidewalk. Then he starts stepping on him, and my late wife, it just infuriated her. She told him off. He said, how can you speak the way you do and you kill these little creatures? Well, they're going to eat your plants and stuff. Well, she said, well, that's what they do. They eat plants. That's what they're supposed to do. You're not supposed to kill them. That goes against everything you were talking about. You're a hypocrite. Get out of here. She was a hothead. And yeah, so we struck a chord, and I'm looking over here as you're talking, and it's that people are all talking about how they can't kill anything, even if they enjoy guns as a recreational sports, they can never hunt something or kill something. And I won't even kill a spider, not unless it's a black widow and it's crawling up to my arm, and I have nothing. I have no, It's like, sorry, you're a real bad guy, and you got to go because it's either you or me.
yeah.
It's me or you, and if you bite my dog or you bite Mary, or we're gonna get sick, maybe even die. So you have to. But I know what all the different spiders are, and most of them are all harmless. And I love jumping spiders. I even talk to them. They get scared. Oh God, you saw me! You're gonna eat me! And it's like, no, you're fine. Stay there. Get the bad bugs that get in the house, and then they go, oh, okay, and they crawl off, and I'll see them a week later, still going around. They don't hurt anything. but I
No,
find it terribly. I don't want to kill anything.
no, no.
Nothing.
I mean, I know how to hunt. I've never hunted.
Yeah.
I don't want to unless if I absolutely needed to.
Yeah.
Uh, Fishing is just a fun exercise. That's
I
all.
used to love to fish when I was a kid, and I was really good at it, but I just don't think I could do it now,
No, I mean, if I go out, it's more or less
Catch and release,
sit
maybe.
there and just talk or
Yeah.
something. It's just a
Yeah. The rushing brook, the nature, and just, there's a lizard out here I call Larry. Uh, we have actually a few of them, but they're all Larrys. And, they get real scared at first, but after a while, they get to know you. When you come out, if you just are cautious and walk by them slowly, they'll just look at you and maybe pump
Mhm.
up and down. The males go up and down like this, showing their territory. But I mean, they're connected to us, whether people know they're connected to them or not.
Oh yeah,
So it's easy to communicate with them. Now, I'm not saying that this communication would keep a hungry tiger from
yeah,
taking you
Uh,
down. So, but basically, how you avoid that is you stay out of their realm.
yeah. I mean, whenever we go out into the woods, whenever we go swimming in the ocean, we're
Right.
going into another being's world.
Yeah, you are. And you can't really hold it against them because they decide you're a tasty morsel.
I mean, I've been chased by bear out here, and I've chased bear.
Yeah.
you
That's a hell of a sport you got there.
know.
Bear chasing. Mm.
Well, dogs were chasing it too. I just
Oh, well,
dragged.
that always helps because they're afraid of the dogs.
Yeah.
And dogs. How could we ever live without dogs? I mean, I just can't.
Oh, I
So,
used to work for a no-kill shelter. Oh, just so
oh,
much
wow.
fun. Oh, that was just the best.
And yeah, I'm going to call Chuck tomorrow because I actually, um, I got a day off tomorrow for the first time in a long time. I can actually sleep in till 6:30, and that is sleeping in for Mary and me.
Wow. I
Maybe
can't.
even 7, huh, Mary?
I can't do that. No.
You can't sleep in?
Well, no, I mean, I'm saying sleeping in that early.
Oh, yeah.
We've always been night owls. Have quite a few owls that hang around here too, and hawk. Um, Talk to them constantly, especially the owls at night during the spring, summer, and fall. Just always talking to them. It's really nice. And I
I
know
miss
that the owls may not be what they seem to.
I guess not. I mean, I miss them. I haven't seen one in a long time. The last time that we had some owls, they were um, in our park where our house is, and I heard them from the house, and I walked over to the park, and I stood underneath one of the big trees, and I talked to them. They were two great horned owls, and they were hooting back and forth to each other. It's just beautiful.
Oh, that's
So,
gorgeous.
yeah, yeah, it really is. So, well, tell us more, John. This is your night.
Well, Adam.
I why do I keep doing that? Maybe you were John in a past life and they knew you. But Adam,
I think
yes, tell us
so.
more. It's your
I
night,
think
Adam.
so. Oh, I know. Oh, no, plenty more. I'm just trying to kind of pigeonhole a couple. There, oh, I used to, speaking of spiders, I mean, I was bitten by a white-tailed spider in Australia.
Ooh, they
Eh,
have some nasty ones there.
Oh yeah, that was a nasty one, but I never felt it, but it came up like an acid burn and all that fun stuff. But I spent many a year, and I'm trying to make my way back again. And I was married to an Australian woman, had a stepchild, and I mean, some years before that, I was in a previous relationship, and that in that relationship we had you know, she fell pregnant and but lost it later, and it was one of those mysterious self abortions where it basically just disappeared. like the sac was still there, but the doctors were a little bit perplexed, but they didn't really want to dwell on that.
Mhm.
So, some odd years later, I'm married and have a stepdaughter. And we had a really nice evening whenever my ex wife went out with a friend for, a girls' night out. And, the little girl and I had a really nice dinner, fun little dessert, watched some TV, read her a story, sent her to bed. I stayed up a little bit, watched some movies, and I went to bed. And halfway through the night, I see something, a light coming down the hall, like, like whenever someone's coming towards it. And my stepdaughter would use this little plastic lantern that I gifted her. And, it'd just make like a little haunting kind of light coming down the hall. And I'm trying to sit up in bed. I'm about halfway, but fighting through paralysis. And the light is a bit different than what the lantern would be.
Mhm.
Bit more warm, but a lot more points in the light. And in comes finally my stepdaughter, or at least for the first second, I thought it was my stepdaughter. She was glowing, and I heard in my head, "I'm your real daughter." And I was breaking through the paralysis and finally broke through it and started to reach for her. She reached out to me. We touched, and that's where the memory ends.
What did that touch feel like?
Like a divine spark.
A spark. So you felt like a spark.
Yeah. I mean, there was,
Electrical? Well, we are
and that's
energy.
what that's why I use
We
divine,
are
is because it
electrical
wasn't
energy.
like, like static electricity. It wasn't electricity.
Right.
There was energy behind it, but
Right.
it was a warm, like, kind of glow, like a vibration type of thing, which comes with electricity if you've ever felt it. Uh,
Yeah, I felt it. Yeah.
and
Um, what
it
did
didn't
she?
feel bad. It felt good, but it
Yeah.
was it was just the beginning, and it was beautiful. I
What did she?
treasure it.
What did she look like?
She looked like my stepdaughter.
Hmm.
That's why I I think that either the being that came from that pregnancy looks like my stepdaughter, or it was just made to look like my stepdaughter
Yeah.
for that initial moment until I could be told, no, this is your stepdaughter. Because then, if something's pulled back, if the mask is pulled away and it's something else,
Yeah. We
you know,
do know that they have that capability,
oh, yeah.
and of course, we've all heard Jacques Vallée and a number of other people talk about the fact that going back very far in time, they have been appearing to us um, the way that we'll accept them. So look,
Hmm.
based on the timeline where we're at, like we would see leprechauns. We didn't see grays, but it was the same thing, or fairies. And so this question comes up: what do they really look like if they're capable of doing all that? But then I go back all the time to um, the claims of us having bodies and the fact that they do look like the grays and other types of beings that we're familiar with. If it's true that they actually have the bodies, then if they have been the same beings or spirits all along, changing their look to suit us, they're not doing that when they're dead and laying in some laboratory somewhere. So maybe that's really what they look like.
Yeah.
I've read lots of alleged documents that are supposed to be genuine about the nature of the bodies and how they work and everything else. And so maybe after all this time, they are appearing to us the way they really look, because where we're at now, being spacefaring beings ourselves, and we're a bit more advanced in science than we were back in the 1400s, and those early eras. They're actually appearing to us the way they really look.
Oh yeah.
I just have a feeling that's what's going on.
Well, I mean, who's to say that it isn't, that bodies can't be, let's say, manufactured for the day and time for something that could step in?
Maybe.
What if it's an avatar type deal?
But then there's the craft too. Or in the 1800s, they saw dirigibles and they would anchor themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then they would glow and fly away. And it's like, so there was something going on there. I mean, I'll never forget the being I saw in the kitchen that night. I was fully awake. And, at first I saw a wooden butcher block, and then its legs moved. And then the more I looked at it, the more I started to see what it really was. And it was one of them. And it was an amazing moment. You're being asked if you're an artist.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder too, because I'm seeing have you shared any of your artwork with us?
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't. What kind of art do you do? It looks like illustrations from what I can see.
Well, that's I collect friends' artwork actually.
Okay.
I do a lot of collecting of friends' artwork and people that I admire and stuff.
Right.
I used to hang my own stuff in my own room, but I wanted to change it so much all the time. So,
Thank you, Catkins.
But I do a lot of digital anymore. I went to university as a graphic designer,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a well-rounded, not only general education but art education. Took painting, photography, the whole lot. And I like to make videos, photography, but I've really always been drawn to digital. Like, just really pushing the limits and seeing what we can
Yeah.
do with that.
I know that one because I've been working with Unreal Engine, and it's replaced pretty much everything I ever used to use.
Mm-hmm.
But now many people are pushing me to give up that old stuff and just use AI. But the problem with AI is that I only use it when I have to, because it's a time thing, and because I much prefer doing the work myself. It's just a personal thing. I'm an artist. I like to do my own art. I don't like to have a machine do it for me. So, especially when it comes down to reenacting my memories, with the visitors and stuff. It's never going to get that right. Anytime I've ever asked it to do a visitor, it would give me some Hollywood looking thing with veins and all kinds of, tendrils and muscles and the wet and slimy, and the eyes are really bugging out and wrinkles on them. It's like, that's not what I saw. They're very simplistic looking beings, but Hollywood's always wanted them to be monsters so they can get more box office. So.
Look what happened to Fire in the Sky.
Well, yeah, that's a perfect example. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
So,
And, I mean, to be honest, AI is a wonderful possibility of a tool, but there's just no way to really separate the use of just taking away work from artists too. Like,
yeah,
I mean, you can get it better than what it can.
Yeah, and I'm already hearing about people that are close to people I know losing their jobs to it already. Because the guys with all the money paying for those jobs think, "Why do I need you?" They can't tell the difference between a really good artist's work and something an AI produces. I can. I can spot it every time. So
no, they're not the professionals. They're just the money men.
yeah, I know. We
lot of
don't need them
dollars.
anymore. We don't need them anymore because I mean, if you're making any money at all, you can get a decent camera, you can get Da Vinci and other programs for free like Unreal, and you can do your own thing and make your own statement and make express yourself without having to have millions of dollars. So we're getting close to the 7 o'clock hour, and Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, or you want to take questions?
Let's take some questions. I
And
heard
Adam
Bigfoot,
McKay, thank you.
Littlefoot's here. There may be a few other friends.
Right.
Oh, I remember hearing that. Hearing you talking about it on one of these, that you had a Bigfoot encounter when you were a child.
Yeah, I know. It's when my mom used to send me away to summer camp with the boys club up in Mendocino County. And yeah, we had that happen.
Nice.
One of the overnighters. Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
my friends are Bigfoot researchers of the year of
Mhm.
2022. So
Yeah, it was only that one time. I don't doubt they exist. And, there's, again, it always goes back to the eyewitnesses. If you don't have any other evidence but them, why would they lie? Some of them do it because they want to get attention and sell books and that kind of stuff. But overall, just like with this experience, most of them want to remain anonymous. They'll tell you
yeah,
that they saw, but don't tell anybody because it scared the hell out of me and it chased me, or and it just most people, they don't. I mean, what these communion letters is, you got thousands of letters from people that did not want their names used, so they have
yeah,
nothing to gain.
over half a million letters.
Yeah, and overall, with people who have these experiences, um, most of them don't want to talk about it to people who are outsiders. Adam, do your experiences frighten you? That's
To
from
be
Ann Carter.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Anne. To be honest, I've worked through a lot of the fear. Whenever I've had points of fear, um, not. I mean, like I just kind of worked through it, or learned to adapt, or come to peace with it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like if you're a stuntman. After a while, you get pretty okay with heights or falling off stuff and going limp and stuff like that. Whenever the first time you jump out of a plane with a parachute, it's probably the most exhilarating time that you're going to be doing it.
I would never jump
Um,
out of a perfectly good airplane. That's the
no,
most.
neither would I.
You're
Neither.
being asked some questions here. You need to look down there. So,
Oh, I can't see them. So
Casey asked you. Guy asked you. Um,
no, I mean I can't see any of them on the screen. So
you can't.
no,
You don't have your chat turned on.
I'm just
Oh,
going through
Adam,
the
do
StreamYard.
you see? I can't pronounce this name, but Adam, do you see people's faces change as you talk to them? If so, how do you handle it?
Okay, I just signed in on my phone. So yeah,
Okay.
I do. I've always kind of wondered if it wasn't face blindness, but if it's another one, a loon. Call me a loon. Okay,
No.
a loon. I do see people's faces change, especially people that I've only met once and briefly. Everything kind of changes, but they can change occasionally while I'm talking to them. And to be honest, I've always been really good with a dry sense of humor. So I can
No.
I can just kind of sit there and go, okay, I'm about ready to bug out, but we'll
Yeah.
just stick with this, sit on it.
Guy's got a question for you. He says, have you seen a craft?
One time while being pulled through the window of my room, right over here, in fact,
Mm.
um, I remember as I was going up and looking up at the craft that was there, there were four lights beaming down. And just remember thinking how it looked like the bottom of a piggy bank,
Huh.
like with the lights and stuff like that. I do remember the craft like that. I've seen orbs follow the lines of ridges in the hills whenever it's winter and fall and such, and watch them go up a ridge, and you wonder if it's a car, but then it goes on to another ridge, and then it starts coming down at you. And, as much as you want to play with orbs, it's not a good idea to play with orbs.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that experience once, and I'm going to cover that probably in next week's show. What's your most Johnny 2021 says, what's your most meaningful experience? Did you, any experience give you a certainty of the paranormal?
I would have to say the one with my child.
Yeah.
I mean, like that one still gets me a little weepy to this day. And with hearing the voice in my head that's so similar to the one that saved your life, to the
Mm-hmm.
female on female's voice, like the tall white that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
sure.
I even call her from the communion book. And I've had another.
John Condor, have you had uh, onboard UFO experiences, and if so, then when was the most recent encounter?
The last time I remember an on board was about maybe 10 years ago. I remember waking up to, and the room was, I was surrounded. Everybody, all the grays were looking down at me, and the lady was looking down at me from my head. And I remember trying to stifle screaming just because of the pure shock waking up to
Yeah,
that.
sure.
And
Yeah,
then
it's,
trying to calm down, and you just go, oh, okay, I'm here. This is going to be okay. I'm going to go back to bed soon. Type.
yeah, isn't that something? Which means you're used to it. Actually, I mean, you're familiar with it. Um,
Now,
Judy asked a great question, and this has happened to me, and I've done some artwork of it, and I plan to do more. Have you? Have they ever taken you to other worlds? Have you been taken to another world and actually seen it? It's a
yeah,
planet. I mean, you're on the surface of it, and it's like here, but it's not like here.
I've been somewhere where it's tall grass,
Hmm.
and running with a group of friends, and falling down an embankment where you didn't really get hurt. But I remember the taste of the dirt and the feeling in my fingers, and, the grit and all that. But it was kind of tall grass, almost like corn, you know.
Yeah. What kind of feeling did you have when you were there?
A sense of being lighter.
How
I
about?
had a sense that the sky wasn't the colors that it normally is anywhere I've been in my life. It was
Mhm.
almost an indescribable color. And we were being watched or being taken care of by, something higher, like grays or whatever in the background. But
Mhm.
the sense was, this is your last time to play here for a good while.
When I was in this place, it just I felt for the first time in my life, I actually had no sense of stress,
Hmm.
no sense of fear, no sense of oppression. It felt wonderful.
Well, that speaks to where I'm talking about, where I said I felt like it was the last time I was able to play.
Yeah.
It's like that. This is carefree. This is
Yeah.
okay. There's no stress. You don't have to worry about this, that, or the other. This is it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It could be like that. It can be like it can be the same here. I'm getting tired. On Earth, it can. It's always been capable of that. I mean, we're born these pure little children. They're we're very innocent, and to us, everything is wonderful and a joy. And then it gets driven out of us, and we have to put a stop to that somehow,
we
some way.
do.
It's
We really
imperative.
do.
It means our very survival. So, well,
Now,
on that
I'm going.
note,
Can we
okay,
just one more?
sure,
And I think everyone will enjoy this because this is one reason why I collect art.
okay.
Back in university, while I was taking art classes, especially art history classes, um, I would doodle this character all the time, meditating. Sometimes she was holding poppy seeds.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Sometimes, there was a bright light. Sometimes, like, of course, following the setting formation, the lotus, it's kind of in a triangle. And I used to draw her all the time. My friend sent me a painting he was making for a event, and I demanded to have it because it was what I'd drawn throughout university. And that painting was of her and her as well, as long as yours, and of Whitley's.
oh, wow.
And this is what I used to sketch.
Flatter, please.
Oh,
And line from 2001, of course.
yeah.
A bit flatter, please, Dave. That is gorgeous. Can you bring it a bit? Bring it a bit closer,
Yeah.
and then down a bit. Wow, that's really something. It really is.
That's by my friend Ron Lathan.
You're welcome, Adam.
Wild and Weird. So,
Wow. Well, Adam, thanks for coming on the show.
oh, thanks for having me.
And just thanks for being Adam, and thanks for being here. And that same thing goes for all of you. And Judy, we'd like to have you on this show
Mhm.
if you're open to that. And bit by bit, I would like to get some of the people
Well, I mean,
in the
that's
chat
what
here on
I'm
the show
here.
as well. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
because
why I'm here. Is I want to make it comfortable for other people.
right,
You know.
yeah,
If I have
I
to be
mean,
the first guinea pig out of the gate, sure, let's have it.
okay. And if you're worried about being identified, you could always wear a mask or something. I'm a gray. I've got
Yeah,
some of those around here.
I
So
got that one.
that's African.
Yep,
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
I got a
Right.
few African sculptures. So,
John, thank you, and lots of love back to you as well. And Anne, thank you so much. And I really, oh, thank you, Judy. We will talk next week or this weekend. You do have my email, I think. At least you can find it easy enough. But really, no, thanks for all the support. In last week's show, the 10-minute one that I did, I was overwhelmed with the comments and the support, and it was really something, and I appreciate it a great deal. And you've given me an idea, a better idea of what you'd like to see, and I'm going to try to keep delivering that. So since we don't have someone to go in front of camera again this week, I'm going to do it again. And we're going to, as I said, I got like 8 of them I picked out, and I'm going to do 3. So out of that 8, and there's many more, but that I wrote down that many. So that's what I'm going to do.
if you need me for more filler, just call on me.
I will. You're not filler. You're Adam Good. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank every one of you.
Yes.
What's that? What? What did I miss? Mary's laughing. I missed something, but as punchy as I am, it's not no wonder.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you so much for having me. And
yeah. Oh,
anytime you want to have me, I'm happy to be here.
okay. You got it. Anyway, good night, all of you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
We'll see you tomorrow.